everyone, welcome back. My goodness, it has been crazy busy with school wrapping up before the holidays and then the holidays. There's a bee right there. Oh, I got it. Hope everyone has been having some good holidays and enjoying family time. I want to jump in now because we are on the final stages before base coat and clear coat. I want to show you some things between wet and dry sanding. I'll show you what I do, and I want to ask what you do, what works for you. So let's jump right in. First and foremost, some cheapy spray paint. This is from Home Depot. It's like almost $3 a can. Really nothing to it. Don't get anything fancy. Don't get the gloss. It's gonna clog up your sandpaper. I don't do this normally on large panels anymore just because I'm used to the feel. Everything when you're wet sanding and getting it ready for base coat is all about feel. You just gotta feel it. So, I mean, basically I use this for smaller pieces because it's in the detail, right? So you just kind of, it's called guide coat. You're gonna have something like that all over the car or on the panels that you wanna work with guide coat. Let that dry. You're gonna come back in with a bucket of water. Let me show you mine. All right. So you're gonna have a bucket of water. I use soap. I like soap because it keeps it lubricated. I don't know what you guys use. Tell me what you do, if it's with soap, without soap. I cut my paper like this, like I showed you earlier. Fold it over, keep it soaking. Another thing you wanna have on you is a rag. That way you can check your work as you're going. Guide coat is just that. It's to guide you along where you're sanding, what you haven't sanded. What I do is to knock down the big panels, I use a DA. I come in with a 400 grit, and just the big spots like here, right along the middle here, I wouldn't bring it up to this edge. Stay away from these edges, these really sharp edges, because you're gonna have a lot of burn through there. You're just trying to avoid burn through, and I'll show you what that is here in a second. But knock down all the big stuff, then you're gonna come back with your block and block it out. Now, I wish somebody would have told me all of these things that I'm sharing with you today, but I'm hoping it helps somebody out there. Keep your block flat. Do not go in circles. Tell me guys, have you done it in circles before? I've never done circles. I've always just learned to follow the airflow of the car, right? So the airflow is this way. You can go side to side. Some do it diagonally. Diagonally is fine because it's not circles. A spray bottle, always want to keep the panel wet that you're working on. Also, you don't need a mask because there's no particles in the air that are being created from you sanding. But it is going to clog your paper some. So when you're sanding, it's going to clog your paper. And what I do, spray right off and keep on going. So those are the tips and tricks that I know about wet sanding. Dry sanding, I just prefer wet sanding. Tell me what you guys prefer. I don't know if there's a significant difference aside from the mess. When you dry sand, it's dust everywhere. When you wet sand, you don't need a mask, and it's just less mess. Everything that you're sanding off is gonna run down the car to the floor. You have to clean that later, but it's better than a big disaster of a mess in the air. So let's keep going. I'm gonna do the whole car and bring you back in and see where we're at. All right, so for dry and wet sanding primer, DA, 400 grit. Let me know what you guys use. If you're a fan of 600, I start with 400 and I block out the whole car at 600 after that. You need your mask. I'd recommend having your glazing putty ready to go. You need some cheapy black paint, flat. Do not get glossy, it'll clog up your sandpaper quicker. Some cheap dish soap for your water buckets. A rag, I mean, just all the regular stuff you're gonna be using. So then you're gonna come in here and get down to my, oh man, that feels nice. I still have to go over it in 600 grit, but man, it's coming out really nice. I don't know if you guys have been following along with the videos, but this was a disaster. And now it's getting there. Wow, so much better. Stay tuned. So this is what it's looking like for me after 3 coats of 2K primer, a little grainy. I wish I had better settings. You guys share your settings with me, but ready to block this out. Final stage before base coat. So here I go, got the DA
ready to go. 400 grit. Water bottles, don't need them right now, so I'm going to set them aside. I am dry sanding with the DA. Got my mask on, ready to roll. Just wanted to show you a little clip of what it looks like to dry sand and just the mess that it makes. I mean, look at it, it's going everywhere. Definitely want to have your mask on to not be breathing that stuff in, so careful on those edges as well. You don't want any burn through. And that's it, just massage it, just got to finesse it. And then every so often run your hand over it and feel what it feels like and keep it going. All right, so after you've hit it with the DA, knocked down all the big stuff, because this is a big panel, you're gonna come over and get from your bucket of soapy water. It doesn't have to be soapy. Tell me what you guys do. Do you guys always use soap? Do you not use soap? I like soap because it keeps it more lubricated, it keeps it wet. I cut my strips for a double fold, I guess, or a single fold. I like to be able to fold it over the block and then come over, sand. Oh, it's getting a little dull. Flip it over. What I recommend you have on standby is air, scissors, razor blade, just your normal stuff. I mean, you're gonna need this when you're working your piece anyway. You're gonna feel it. I mean, there's parts here that I didn't really get with the DA, and that's fine. I'm gonna come back with the block. I wanna block everything out anyway. I want it to be nice and flat before I lay down base coat. So I left all of this alone on the front side because I just didn't want any burn through. Burn through is when you, quite frankly, just burn through the primer and get back to the metal. Now, this is not a big deal. What I do to fix this is if it's small enough, I'll hit it with a spray can. If you know, this is just, it's gonna happen, expect it. If it's kind of a bigger section, I guess, or just, I don't know, larger than what you're not comfortable spraying over with just base coat, then go ahead and hit it again with 2K primer. So let me go ahead and get to blocking this out, and we'll see what it's looking like and feeling like after that. As you can tell, I am a Batman fan. That's my guy. Who's your favorite superhero and why? I gotta know why. Here I go, prepping where I'm going and cleaning the sandpaper because it does get clogged even if you're wet sanding. What I like to do is I'm making my way across the panel. I come back to where I started and I start wiping it with my block so I can see what that's looking like and if anything else needs more attention. So that's just something that I do. So here I want to show you a trick that I use the rag for. So as it's getting dry, I just kind of squeeze it and get some more water going so it stays wet, sandpaper's gliding, and it's just something that I do. That way I'm not dipping constantly back into the bucket and I just can keep sanding. And here I go, just a quick time lapse of me running the DA on the roof with 400 grit, getting that ready to also block out and wet sand. I mean, you just got to make your way around the entire car. I got a couple of spots like those pillars that still need primer, so just making my way around. Right here, I'm kind of using that same technique. I have the rag soaking and I'm just kind of squeezing it to get water to go down the panel so I can just keep going. I don't have to continue dipping into the bucket I'm just moving and grooving. Now, that wheel well, you're gonna have to figure something out, whether your block can contour to it or not. I mean, you might just have to manipulate the sandpaper to go over your hand and go over that wheel well. Sometimes you just got to get creative and find ways to sand out. Like right there, I'm trying it with the block and I'm like, not really feeling it. It's working, but not to my liking, because it's just that little piece right between the body and that's not getting really sanded down. So gonna leave the block alone, get the sandpaper and contour it. There it is to my hand. And this is how finishing off the day. 600 grit. I can't even talk. I think I'm hungry. Gonna see how long I can last into the evening, and I'll be back tomorrow. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who is watching and tuning in, and hopefully if you're liking the videos, you subscribe and join the ride. That's what it's all about, learning and growing and having fun. And if you're into stuff like this, then this is right up your alley. I mean, it could be applied to anything: woodworking, auto body, I don't know, maybe you're painting a picture frame, maybe you're, I don't know, all the DIY stuff, right? It's all about prep, the elbow grease, right? Built, not bought. Well, I want to thank everyone and all the subscribers who already have subscribed. Thank you. I love that people are showing interest in what I'm doing and the support. So you guys have a wonderful night, and we'll see you tomorrow.